Michael Montegriffo was murdered in Gibraltar over a year ago, and there are still no leads. I found this case on Reddit and found it to be very interesting, so I thought I'd share here on one of our videos. So, Michael Montegriffo, again, was murdered in Gibraltar over a year ago, and there are still no leads. The coroner returned a verdict of unlawful killing in the case of Michael Montegriffo, a 58-year-old Gibraltar local. Mr. Montegriffo was found in front of his home in the area of Gavino's dwellings in Prince Edward's Road with multiple injuries. Michael was an eccentric guy. Officers described him as well-liked by the community and a talented artist who enjoyed daily walks and playing his guitar at night. He was artistic and liked to sell his work on the street in Casemate Square at times. He would busk at times and liked creating his own music. Michael was a friendly guy that seemed to get along well with others. A friend recalled that the last time he saw him was around July 5th, 2018. Michael seemed fine, and nothing seemed to be bothering him. On July 7, 2018, at around 11:15 a.m., he was found bleeding and unconscious on a residence street in Gibraltar. He ended up succumbing to his injuries at the hospital. From what is known, he was hit on the head using blunt force, as if someone deliberately attacked him with the intention of him dying from his injuries. I say this because it was also discovered that he had defensive wounds and bruising to the back of his hand, as if he was using it to shield his head from impact. He was left on the street to die. The pathologist said there were lacerations to Mr. Montegriffo's head and bruising to the back of his hands. Mr. Montegriffo had suffered at least 4 lacerations on his head from a blunt object. Now, Gibraltar is a British territory on Spain's south coast. It's dominated by the Rock of Gibraltar, a 426-meter-high limestone ridge, famous for its tourism and John and Yoko Ono's wedding location. One would think that because it is small in size and population, someone would have information as to what happened. Someone must have seen the crime or have some idea who did it. That turns out to be incorrect, as far as we know. From what I understand, no one has come forward with any information on the culprit. Police have interviewed a number of locals, but that did not turn up any additional information. As many people do, Michael was a cannabis smoker. He wasn't known to sell, but as one would assume, he likely came across shady people to obtain it. Which brings us to one theory, that maybe it was related to drugs. How so? Well, I'm not sure. Maybe he owed someone money. Maybe he was selling drugs and took over someone's turf. He wasn't poor or homeless. I mean, he wasn't Bill Gates, but definitely not sleeping in the streets. Who knows? That's just one theory. He was a light drinker of alcohol, as friends have reported, which brings me to my next theory. Maybe he was drunk and got into an altercation. Maybe he said something to the wrong person. Maybe he confronted someone he knew about some personal issue. Who knows? The next theory has to do with him and a local. Police state that they don't necessarily believe he was a random target, but more so that he was the target. Investigating officers have consulted external forensic and behavioral experts. It is believed that Michael's confrontation involved someone who was likely to be known to both Mr. Montegriffo and the community. They also believe that the incident was likely to have been sparked off by an argument over an ongoing problem or problems, but that the individual in question didn't intend for the conflict to end the way it did. We also believe that this person was in the neighborhood for a legitimate purpose, living there, working there, or visiting another person who resided there. We believe this person may have acted impulsively after having lost control of his or her temper, and that this type of anger, hostility, and impulsivity would carry over into his or her other relationships and conflicts, according to Chief Inspector Roy Perez. At first, it was suspected that Michael had either jumped or fallen from a window located directly above where he was found. Footage of the incident shows the body next to the wall, but Chief Inspector Perez stated that if someone were to jump, their body weight would push them away from the wall. That's pretty much all the information we have on this case. If you take a look at the streets of Gibraltar and the area where Michael was found, you'll notice that the streets are very narrow. The houses and apartments are all extremely close to each other, and it seems like an area where a lot of people would know each other and where one might discuss what happened and exchange ideas onto who it may have been. Obviously, someone there knows something. I'm not really sure, who it could have been, but I definitely think that the answer lies within that neighborhood. Especially with it being just so close, like it's so tight-knit, both physically and probably emotionally as far as relationships go. While I was browsing this area on Google Earth, I noticed that there are a lot of places to hide. So I could see someone being able to attack him and run off without anyone seeing them. That seems like something that was very easy to do. There were a lot of staircases, a lot of winding streets. Apparently no one heard anything, no one saw anything, obviously. I hope that one day we can find out who it was. It'd be interesting to hear who the locals believe did it. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time on the next video. And I hope you have a swell day. Peace out.